Since the book was first released, I've met with many readers while signing books in Newcastle and Sydney and Brisbane and Noosa. And they often ask, how did you get started? How did you dream up the plot and the characters? For Sunni, it was like this. I spent 6 hours a day, 6 days a week for 12 months writing about a young bloke who returned from Korea with PTSD and wanted to get back at the world for his lost years in the army. But I could never get into his head. I couldn't really get to love him or hate him. I couldn't find him anywhere. So I fiddled with the first paragraph using a female lead character, and suddenly Sunni stormed out of the pages where she'd been hiding, waiting for her chance to shine. And she captivated me. She sat on my shoulder and we rewrote the book together in that mystical union that only authors are allowed to experience. And it makes life worthwhile. Please enjoy Sunni's story as she tells you how she was seduced by the glamour and excitement of criminal life and relives her journey from call girl to big-time gangster with a price on her head. There are certain revelations to come on the Mealey side of the family as I get along a bit. Sunni's 1954 was the Palais Dance Theatre, the steam trains and the terrace houses of Tighes Hill, the royal visit, the big brassy American automobiles and the fashions and styles of the great couturiers. Did I get that word right? Close enough. But in 1954, it was also 6 o'clock swill, sly grog, illegal SP bookies taking bets at the end of the bar, Tilly Devine with her razor gang, and Abe Saffron, the charming and beguiling bookie, gangster and member of the Newcastle Jockey Club. It was only 9 years after World War II in Korea, and it was communism and the Petrov defection. Everyone struggling to start a new life, when laws were made to be broken and returning soldiers with chips on their shoulders had to bend the rules to make a quid. In Newcastle, the 50s was a time of illegal casinos masquerading as nightclubs, of rigged races, bribery and corruption, and the scandal of the Yellow Soxers, which caused a magistrate at the time to describe Newcastle as the Berlin of Australia. I followed in Sunni's wake. I lived at the Dudley Hotel, which you'll read about in the book, and worked at the Redhead Mine, my head spinning from the rush as our trolley descended at heart-stopping speed 200 metres to the cold face below, where there were the sad pit ponies and thousands of rats and a lot of coal. And I can place Sunni in the bar at the Dudley, granting herself the right to say or do whatever the hell she likes, preferably something to shock and embarrass. You can't meet Sunni without falling for this silver-tongued seducer, this hoaxer, bushranger and violent avenger, as her journey takes her from call girl to gangster with a price on her head. Sunni is a committed outsider. Here in chapter 8, she describes a visit to meet her lover, the charismatic gangster, at the Dawn Gallops. A gaggle of young women stood around, Grace Kelly lookalikes, in roll necks, beige breeches and knee-high boots, preening, heads together whispering, their eyes following Gabe, sniggering about me until they grasped who was who in the steam room, then patching on their snottiest smiles. One day I'll make them pay for that. At Stockton Beach and Tin City is a real place. I can see her splashing in the shadows while she plans vengeance and her escape to a new life, exposing her own flaws while her mind lurches from Karl Marx and communism to the vanity and delusions of her gangster friends. And now I hear you asking, who was my model for Sunni? Sunni is the reincarnation of my aunt from 1954, and a living, breathing, uninhibited, wisecracking, witty, uproarious and generous auntie she was. Need I say that auntie was not a call girl? That the family myth is that during the war she made lots of friends among the 80,000 US soldiers stationed in Brisbane. And you will have to talk to my elder brother Barry to get the lowdown on auntie. He may be prepared to name her, I'm not. Like my auntie, Sunni is out of the box, unusual, feisty, salty, a heroine battling her way through her world, loyal to her friends. And like my auntie, she's a socialist with an appetite for life, and more than a match for the men she has to deal with. Here's another extract, a sneak peek at Sunni in full flight when she visits her legal advisor, the defrocked Judge Larkham. Shoulder bag swinging, hips swaying, eyes alight, I swished into his office, and before he rose from his battered chair, I leant across the desk, cupped his face in my hands, and planted a kiss on each cheeks. He smelled of whiskey. Now be a good boy, I said, and I'll tell you a story. Hector said, I'd prefer not to hear your story. It'll bring me trouble from Kitty again. You're the reason I'm here in this lonely old room when I could be sitting high on a bench making like Solomon. I filled the room with laughter while casting a critical eye over the judge. He was dusty as his desk, a grey-haired 60, a pasty-faced caricature of Humphrey Bogart wearing a blue shirt and a bow tie with yellow spots. How you wish you were young and silly again, I said, and visiting me at Palmer Street. Ah, he said, the tradesman's arms. You were 26, Kitty's most beautiful escort, and I a bachelor, 46 and infatuated. You were married, Hector, 56 and in debt to Kitty. Before I go, I'd like to share with you a review from Zola Mumford, a librarian at the University of Washington, and I might add, a complete stranger to me. She says, a stylish, fast-paced Australian historical crime fiction. Veteran novelist Noel Mealey creates the post-World War II atmosphere with keen observations of how the former prostitutes, ambitious small-time criminals, gangland muscle, small-time miners, and a few regular folk manage their daily lives and hopes. A compelling read, and the audiobook is fantastic. Readers will eagerly look forward to the next novel in the series. I just want to say on a final note what a humbling experience this is today. I write because I enjoy it, and when I recognise so many faces from my life here, I realise that it's not about the book, but more about the special people I've met on my life's journey. Everyone has a story, and I encourage you all to share yours. It's never too late. Thank you all so much for your support. Please read on. I wrote the book for you, my audience, and I know you will enjoy my Sunni and her gang of inept human rascals.